Hey, what's up? My name is Nelson, and today I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite A24 movies. In light of Everything Everywhere All at Once coming out last weekend, I didn't get a chance to talk about it, so I kind of just decided to just do my top 10 A24 films. This is my favorite studio. Every single time they put a film out, I'm always excited for it, no matter what it is. And for most of the time, they put out bangers. I'm going to keep these very, very brief for the video to not be as long, too long. Coming in at number 10 is Room, directed by Lenny Abrahamson and starring Brie Larson and Jacob Tremblay. This film, first off, it's very, very hard to watch because if you have seen the film, the aspects of the kidnapping and just everything that goes on in this film, very, very beautiful storytelling. And Brie Larson, this is when I saw this film, was when I was like, wow, Brie Larson is a great actress. I remember seeing her in 21 Jump Street, and she was great in that, but then seeing her do this, I was like, okay, Brie Larson is an amazing actress, and she really, really is. And Jacob Tremblay, wow. He really, really kills it for being such a young actor. Coming in at number 9 is Ex Machina, directed by Alex Garland and starring Oscar Isaac, Alicia Vikander, and Domhnall Gleeson. I hope I'm saying his name right. But this film is very, very well done with the cinematography and just the storyline. It's very, very weird, but it just sucked me in watching this, especially with all the performances. Oscar Isaac is crazy, crazy good, and everybody else is really, really good in this film. The CGI with the robots and stuff, just him getting invited to this guy's house and for a job, and it just going so weirdly. It's just such a weird story, and just Oscar Isaac is just amazing in this, and he is just such a good actor. I'm really, really loving Moon Knight right now. But this film, if you haven't seen it, it's a weird one, but it's a very special one, and I cannot wait for Men coming out later this year by the same director. Coming in at number 8 is Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie of the hour. I've seen it twice in theaters now this weekend. I went and saw it once with my cousin and a friend, and then my cousin's girlfriend wanted to see it, so we went and saw it again. And what was special about seeing it the first time is this movie, for one, yes, it's great. Yes, it has the great action. It has some of the best comedy I've seen in so long. I haven't laughed so hard in a film in a while. And it's just got a lot of heart it's got the action pieces. Some of these action pieces I've never seen in anything ever. The fight choreography in this, the cinematography throughout, all of the acting. But this movie, it really made me feel different about life. That sounds weird to say, but I can't stop thinking about this film and just what it teaches you throughout. Like, you only get this one life, and there's lots of things that might have been bad and that have not gone the way that you wanted it to, but there's no reason to sulk about that when you can just... It's your fault if you are going to be complaining about your life and stuff. Your life, you are what makes your life better. And there's such a good message throughout this film. Michelle Yeoh is so good in this as our lead. I mean, she... Just amazing performance. Probably the best performance of a female that I've seen all year. And Stephanie Hsu as their daughter in the movie was amazing. She had to do so many different types of performances. It's a multiverse movie. Basically everybody had to do that, but she did it so well, and she would just her different mannerisms throughout was really, really well done. But the biggest standout for me, Kai Hoi Kwan. He was the biggest standout, definitely, for me. he essentially played a big part of two different characters that were completely different, and he just kills it. This movie, I'm going to give you my score for this movie. My score for this movie is a 98%, and it is my favorite movie the entire year. I even like this movie better than Batman, which is a big surprise to me. But I wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit more. Coming in at number 7 is Midsommar, directed by Ari Aster and starring Florence Pugh. This movie, I remember seeing this movie for the first time, and it was the summertime, just like in the movie. And I went and saw it at like noon, and it was a really bright, sunny, hot day. I remember seeing this movie and just being speechless, walking out of the theater. I went and saw it with my cousin, and me and him walked out of there, and we didn't say a word for a while. You know, I think the only thing my cousin said was, I hated it. And I was like, I was like, I don't know what to think. He ended up loving it. It's one of his favorite movies of all time now. But it just made us feel weird. This movie is one of the most beautiful looking movies I've ever seen in my life. Ari Aster is just an amazing director. I mean, he just kills it. I love this storyline. Just about, it's so awkwardly beautiful with the couple in the movie, Christian not wanting to be with her anymore, yet still staying with her because of the tragic loss in the beginning. And the intensity in this movie at times. It's a long, lengthy movie, but I could watch this movie over and over again. I've seen it at least like 4 times, and this movie just never gets old for me, and I really, really love this movie. The gore in the movie is really, really well done. It's very practical effects, very, very well done. Ari Aster is one of the best directors of our time. I can't wait to see Disappointment Boulevard coming out later this year, hopefully, and I'm very, very excited. It's one of my most anticipated movies of the year. Coming in at number 6 is A Ghost Story, directed by David Lowery and starring Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. This movie, when I first watched this movie, I remember the first time seeing this movie, and I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. I ended up watching it on Netflix when it was on Netflix, but I remember I turned the lights off, I sat there, and I just took in everything I was seeing. It's such a sad, sad movie about just grievances, and just a very, very beautiful movie. I have not been able to bring myself to watch this one again because it was a hard watch. I remember just talking to a friend of mine afterwards and just being like, just telling him my experience. You know, I just sat there after this movie and just reflected on it and just telling him about my experience during this movie. And this movie says a lot. It's a beautiful looking film. It is shot so well. David Lowery is another one of the great director working today, and I Love the Green Knight last year. He's a really, really good director. Just his films look so beautiful. They're such beautifully shot films. And I love how he takes his time, and they linger on shots throughout of just, you know, anything going on. And yes, a lot of people say, you know, a lot of people don't like this film because, you know, I mean, we got a 10-minute scene of her eating a pie. But there's something so beautiful about that scene. This one's definitely worth checking out. Coming in at number 5 is Uncut Gems, directed by the Safdie brothers and starring Adam Sandler. First off, Adam Sandler is amazing in this movie. I knew he was a good actor, like, with, you know, a few of his serious movies that he's done throughout the years, like Punch Drunk Love and a couple other ones, but wow, his acting chops is incredible. And of course, the Oscars snubbed him very, very hard. He should have been up for Best Actor and maybe even have won Best Actor because it is one of the best performances I've seen. It's one of the best performances I've seen in recent years. This film is so intense, And that ending, I thought about that ending forever the first time seeing this film, and just so much stuff. And you feel like, wow, like this is just like, why are you doing this? And it's addiction why he's doing it. And it's like, bro, you're digging yourself deeper. And he's like fighting with his family and all this stuff. It's just a very, very intense. It almost feels claustrophobic at times watching this film, just because it's just like, whoa, like bro, like stop. But it's addiction, you know, he can't stop. And just a very, very intense film. The Safdie brothers, they really know how to make this type of film, this kind of crime based type films. Like Good Time is so good. It's not on this list, but it is one of my top 20 A24 films. But this was definitely a better showing, and I can't wait to see the more that they do. Coming in at number 4 was last year's Come On, Come On. Directed by Mike Mills and starring Joaquin Phoenix, Woody Norman, and Gabby Hoffman. This film, last year I didn't get to talk about it. I did talk about it a little bit for my favorite movies of the year, because this was my favorite movie of last year. And this film, I was very relatable to this film, because my cousin that I do talk about a lot in my videos, when he was little, I hung out with him a lot because of personal things that had happened in his life, and I kind of just took him under my wing, and that's why this movie was so relatable. It's just about a guy who just watches his nephew while the mother goes and takes care of something that needs to be taken care of. And it's just such a well done, just a friendship that builds throughout, and it just hits on such real stuff. And that's what I really, really loved about this film. And it's a love letter to mothers. I remember calling my mom right after, just to tell her how much I love her, and just telling her I'm sorry that I was hard to deal with as a child, because this movie sometimes you just need to call your mom and say that. Very beautiful film. Beautifully shot. The black and white is so beautiful. Coming in at number 3 is 8th Grade. Directed by Bo Burnham and starring Elsie Fisher. Myself, I have such a hard time relating to women at times in films, but for this was one of those times I really related to her. I felt her pain, because I remember being a weird kid who just loved movies in 8th grade, and, you know, not having that many friends myself as a kid, and I just was so related to her. And Bo Burnham, he did so well. I kind of wish he'd do more, because this film was so good. I feel like this is not talked about enough. You know, I didn't hear about this movie until I started watching A24 films and tried to start watching more of them. And this is definitely, it hit me so hard. That campfire scene is one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in my life. It's just such a touching story, and so well done. The writing is so beautiful. Coming in at number 2 is Under the Skin. Directed by Jonathan Glazer and starring Scarlett Johansson in her best performance of her career, in my opinion. This is very scary. It's very slow. This is the definition of a slow burn. And just Scarlett Johansson's acting in this is incredible. Movie looks beautiful. It's very rainy. I love how in the film she is picking up people off the side of the road and driving them places. And, you know, she... Don't want to get into too many spoilers. I'm not trying to spoil anything here. But bad things happen to men that she pick up. But I later found out when I watched the film, after I watched the film, that it was actually real. It felt very real when she was talking to these men that she was picking up. And it was actually just people in this city that they filmed in. And just so well done. All of the acting all around for the people that were actors was really, really good. But obviously Scarlett Johansson's a big standout. Very, very scary at times. It's one of the weirder alien movies that I've ever seen, and it's an alien movie. But that scene with the fire, the gasoline, yeah. It's a hard scene to watch, but it's so well done. But coming in at number one is Hereditary, directed by Ari Aster, and starring Toni Collette, Alex Wolff, Gabriel Byrne, and Millie Shapiro. This film is just one of the greatest horror films ever put to the screen, ever put to the big screen. The storytelling in this film, and just taking a tragic family story and flipping it over and making it kind of this, evil spirit entity type film, and doing it so well. Like I said, for Midsommar, Ari Aster, he's so good and for this film, and he does so good directing this film, and just the way this film is shot, it's just so beautiful. It's very dark throughout the film, but it works so well, and you can see everything. That's one of my pet peeves. I hate when a movie's very dark and you can't see anything. This film, you can see everything very clearly, and it's very beautiful looking throughout. I would say Midsommar looks a little bit prettier, but we're also out in fields, and it's very bright. But Toni Collette, she should have won Best Actress for this film. I mean, I know they overlook at the Academy with horror, but she is just amazing. One of the best performances I've ever seen in my life. Alex Wolff, so good. He just had, I know he had a hard time with this film. I've read, I don't know if it's true, but I read that he's had to have therapy after this film. And I don't blame him. What he has to do in this is just, it's crazy. He's such a good actor. I loved him in Pig. He's just recently in Pig, and he is just so good. I watch out for him every year. Again with the practical effects in this film, wow, so well done. Everything seems so real, especially when what the big thing that happens in the beginning of the movie happens, and when you see it, wow, looks so real. And the little houses that Toni Collette's character builds, and throughout, she does different scenarios. She builds the house, she builds the car accident in the beginning, and it's just so creepily done. You see it throughout, it's just such a good film. And if you haven't seen this film, I really, really recommend it. It's very hard to watch. It's one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life. It's one that I've only been able to rewatch twice, and that was because I wanted to watch it with a couple friends. It's a hard watch because it scares you every time you watch it. There's never a time where you're gonna watch this and not feel scared, even if you know everything's gonna happen. That happens, but one of my favorite horror films of all time. But that is my top 10 favorite A24 films. If you get a chance to go see Everything Everywhere All at Once, it is such a beautiful film. And just so well done. It has so many meanings throughout. Even seeing it twice, I just felt like I seen more. It's well worth your time going to see it. And just very action-filled and funny. And just so good and so much heart. But if you like what I'm doing on this channel, like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Nelson Reviews. Follow me on Letterboxd at Nelson48. Peace out.